Hello and welcome to episode 80 of the Pos-cast with Rabbi Shmuel Posner and myself, Seth Hellman. Rabbi, how are we doing today?
Wow, 80 is amazing. That's amazing.
Big number.
Amazing. It says, the days of your life will be 70 years, and if it'll be strong, you'll have 80. So we're going strong. 80, that's an incredible number. That's insane. We've done 80 episodes? Wow.
Yeah, you've dealt with me for 80 weeks in a row. We haven't even missed a week.
That's your thing. If it's up to me, we would have skipped like 14 weeks along. And just so the audience knows, today was the first time in 80 episodes that I had to text you and say, "Hey, it's time for recording," and you were like off your game, which surprised me.
Yes, but I did tell you that I would be ready in 5 minutes. I said, "Give me 5 minutes," and I got ready in 4.
That's fine. That's fine. By me, once you miss the time, everything falls apart. No, when somebody says, "I'm going to meet you at 4:00," and 4:10 they're not here, I'm into something else, and they come. It's like, okay, now you wait. I don't do it on purpose. It's just what happens. I don't sit and wait for them. It's like a doctor's appointment. You come late, you got to wait, next turn in line. Anyway, here we are. Today, woke up. It was raining for the first time. It had rained that night. It was the first time since before Sukkot. The whole Sukkot didn't rain. And it was raining, and it was cold, and it was dark because it was, 5:00 in the morning. Dark. Nighttime. And I looked on the weather, and it says it was cloudy and rainy. I was like, oh, man. Then about 9:30, the sun came out, 10 o'clock, whatever it was. I went on campus and met some kids and said, how's your day? I said, the sun's out. Like, it was crazy. Like, okay, the sun is out. They probably woke up, the sun was out there. See, that's what Chassidus teaches, the advantage of light that comes from darkness, which is a whole... Oh man, we're getting into a mimer of the Alter Rebbe now. Deep dive. So the point here is this. There is a verse that says in Shir Shirim, the multitude of waters cannot extinguish the love, and the streams cannot drown it. It's talking about the love of the Jews to Hashem. So Alter Rebbe explains, this is the love that's inherent to the soul of every single Jew. So he said, it's a beautiful mimer on this Nissik's parsha. So one of the points is what if the neshama is in heaven, sitting in awe of Hashem, why bother coming down to this world? What's the point of putting it down to this world? And the point he makes is that in the world of souls, the soul perceives godliness. Now, the minute you say the word perceive and you say soul, we're talking about a created being, which is a soul, because it has a form of some sort, some spiritual form. And perceive it means that it's limited to that person. So it's limited. When you come down to this world is a world where godliness is not apparent. And you're doing Hashem's will. This is what Hashem wants us to do. Hashem created the world, so we will make the world a godly place. So that's the advantage of light that comes from darkness. So it's a whole different set of circumstances. It's not you're sitting there basking in the glory of Hashem, which is an amazing thing. You're sitting in the darkness of the world and you're doing what Hashem wants. That's much, much deeper, much greater. But I thought about this because I learned this mimer twice yesterday, which was amazing. Because I learned with somebody at 10 o'clock and I learned with somebody at 1 o'clock and learned the same mimer. I'd love to learn another 5 times this week because it's so smooth and it's so powerful and so instructive. Understanding, and that's the whole idea of, obviously everybody who knows that why does Hashem have to destroy the world with a flood? If you wanted to get rid of all the bad people, he could bad people are gone. What was the point of the flood? And so the Alter Rebbe says these were waters of purification. Like the 40 days that the rain came is parallel to the 40 measurements. It's called a seah that makes a mikveh. So it was a purification. Hashem basically took the world and instead of dipping it into the mikveh, brought a mikveh around it. And that purified it. So it's a whole different story. Now it wasn't just punishing the people, it was purifying the world. And it talks about this idea of the advantage of light that comes from darkness. When you wake up in the morning and it's cloudy and it's overcast and this and that, and 2 hours later the sun is like, this is amazing. You wake up and the sun is out. It's like, I'm used to it. It's okay. Not a big deal. And so we working on this topic. We're coming from the month of holidays, and I didn't, it actually hit me like Sunday and Monday, like it was like a dry period, because you start off, you're getting ready for Rosh Hashanah, then you get ready for Yom Kippur, then you get ready for Sukkot, then you're in Sukkot, then the Simchat Torah, and then Shabbos Bereshis, the first Shabbos after Sukkot, came right after Simchat Torah, one day after, like this past Shabbos. So when Sunday came, it's like, what now? Nothing. It's dry. It's like, oh man, it's a whole different world. So it's almost like, okay, you have to take the sukkah down, whatever. Once the sukkah's down and gone. Like the final part, the sukkah came down in three parts. It came down on Sunday because the walls and put the walls away, and two guys helped me do that, or I helped two guys do that. And then we bundled up, put away the poles that make up the sukkah, bundled up the schach and all that on Monday. And today they picked up so the front yard now is clear. And I looked out and I felt like, oh, it's empty. It's like, there was a sukkah there. It was so amazing. People walk by, they see the sukkah, people come into the sukkah. It's such an amazing thing. I actually had this nostalgia for, missing my sukkah. It's just the dumb old patio now. But anyway, so the Rebbe...
Fill it with something.
What?
Fill it with something then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm just saying, we have to have a barbecue. Oh, tomorrow's 80 degrees. I think it's... Okay, whoever hears this and contacts me by 12 o'clock tomorrow, we will have a barbecue.
How many of your students are listening to the Pos-cast?
That's we're gonna find that out. We're gonna find that out. We'll advertise it. Special prize if you listen to there's a surprise giveaway. So anyway, so
surprise giveaways that you get to wrap tefillin if you didn't wrap tefillin in the morning. Do a barbecue before sundown.
Yeah. Okay.
And then your surprise gift when they show up is
lunchtime. Well, the barbecue is gonna be the surprise. The tefillin is not a surprise. It's what they expect.
The tefillin they should expect. Let's not pretend like BU's got some high, crazy level of intelligence of students over here.
Excuse me. So the Rebbe was talking about another idea, which is also very prevalent in the parshas Noach, right? So they go into the teva. Now, the teva is the ark. But the word teva also means word. So and that mimer I was talking about, the turbulent waters, is all the concerns about worldly matters. The turbulent waters are worldly matters. You're concerned about getting a job. You're concerned about earning a living. You're concerned about paying bills. And just dealing with physicality. That's the turbulence. And so what happens is you go into the ark, and the parasha says that the water lifted it up. Now, the Hebrew word for ark is teva, but that Hebrew word also means word itself. So the Baal Shem Tov says, when you're in the turbulence of the world, go into the words of Torah and prayer, davening and Torah study. But then, so that's great. Okay, we got that. We understand that. If you need a refuge from the world, the swirling worlds of all the stuff that's going on in the world, and just know the elections and the wars in Ukraine and Russia and what's going on in Eretz Yisrael. This is so confusing. It's so disturbing. Get into the words of Torah and prayer. But then in this mimer, he says, what happens? The turbulent waters lift up the ark. So when you're learning Torah in Gan Eden, okay, that's great. That's a gradual ascent in relationship to Hashem. But when you're doing it in this world, it's not gradual. It's like jumping. It's like, whoa, in this crazy world learning Torah. Until the turbulent waters actually lift up the ark. So now what was life like in the ark with Noach? It was amazing. It was like similar to the times of Mashiach. All the animals are getting along with each other. And the Rebbe explained, I never thought of it this way, but how the Rebbe mentioned, all the animals were happy. Their food was provided to them by Noach. Be seen before. So here's like a quiz question. Where was the first zoo for animals?
The
The
ark.
teva. They were all together in their own separate compartments, and I mean, there wasn't many visitors because there's Noach and his families, and his sons and their wives. But so Noach is feeding them food. What could these animals want more in life? So then, when the flood is over and sends out the raven and the dove, and finally Hashem says, "Tzei min teva, go out of the teva." Now, let me go out? If you were locked up in prison and someone unlocked the door, you don't need an invitation to leave. But Noach said, "No, I'm staying in the teva. This is literally paradise on this world, literally." But not only that, but it says also, I'd say, the Hebrew word for the animals going is take the animals out. Because so the point is that even the animals realized and appreciated what a blissful life they were having in the teva. The whole point is you got to go out into the world and you have to engage the world, make the world holy. And so this is the same thing also. You're coming from the month of Tishrei, which we're still in the month of Tishrei till Shabbos actually. Rosh Chodesh is Friday and Shabbos. So we're coming out of Tishrei, we're like, whoa, it's amazing, it's fantastic, great. Now you got to take all that energy and translate it into the practical life that we're living. It's weekdays, a whole week from Sunday until Friday. But in those weekdays, you have to bring more godliness into it. So that's the place where we're at. Simchat Torah, I got to tell you here, was so amazing. It was so beautiful. Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. We do it jointly with Northeastern University. And there was like a lot of people came. It was really nice. People that don't usually come. Like, oh wow, this guy came, that guy came, this person, that came, person. I think we had a good time. So on
Did you
Shemini,
do an hour-long hakafa and go all the way down to the GSU with the Torah?
No, so the thing was on Friday, first of all, it's like everything's pushed up 10 days because of the schedule of the year. And this is Erev Shabbos. It's like Mendy was here with his family and Yisrael was here. And yeah, we got to get home before Shabbos, got to set things up for Shabbos. See, normally we can go till half an hour before Yontiv is over. But here, so let me back up here a second. So the answer is no, we didn't go all the way down to the GSU. We did a little dance outside, but we didn't go to GSU. However, Shemini Atzeres, which was Thursday night, which was Wednesday night, so we do our kafas then also. So, but it's not so well known to most Jews. They know it's Simchat Torah, not Shemini Atzeres. So the crowd is not so big, but in a way I like it much better because Simchat Torah is a lot of hype. It's a big party and everybody comes and we have this huge spread, 4 tables full of food, and Mendy's wife Musi, whatever. It's insane. It's crazy. So, I mean, it's beautiful. It's wonderful. All the food is eaten, but it's a huge thing, and it's and Shemini Atzeres, it's calm. It's calm. It's calm. It's like, nobody's expecting anything. There's no homotomol. There's not a big racket. It's calm, but it's important. It's Yontif, and actually in Israel, they finished their Yontif on Thursday night, right? And so in Israel they have to call hakafot shniyot, which means second hakafas, which is weird because usually, because they're now Israel's mimicking us. They always say, "Oh, we have only one day of, and you have two." But here they're mimicking us, so they also do hakafas that night. But it's not Yontif anymore. So they have music. It's a whole thing. But it's a thing. Hakafot shniyot. Rebbe used to write, address letters to that, and now with the war, who knows what's going on. But in previous years, like in Kar Chabad, it was huge, and a lot of the politicians would come, and it was like a big simcha. I think this year they toned it down in many places because, no need for excessive, not to minimize the joy of Yontif, but not to overdo it when people are out there in the field. So, but in essence, we should be doing what Israel does on Shemini Atzeres, and Simchat Torah, we do it over again. But we don't do it that way. We do Simchat Torah, so in Israel they finished the Torah and started again on Shemini Atzeres. We do it on Simchat. Anyway, so many shuls don't have dancing on Shemini Atzeres. So we had the dancing on, and it was like, I don't know, it was 15, 20 guys, and it was small, and it wasn't drawn out, but it was meaningful. It was just very, very meaningful. It was calm dancing with no craziness. No one's jumping all over the place. And then I was thinking to myself, should we go outside? Because we always do hakaf outside. And look around these guys, most of them, I don't even think it was the first time they were doing hakafas with us. It's like first year kids. They're gonna think we're crazy. Why are we doing that? And then I said, nah, you gotta do. Okay. So at the end, I said, we're going outside. We go outside, and this guy is walking by, and I think he said Chag Sameach with Yontif. I think he was even wearing a yarmulke of some sort. And so I immediately grabbed him into the circle and gave him a Sefer Torah to hold.
And just lock him in real quick.
Yeah, oh yeah. And we danced around like just for a few minutes. And then off he went. And then after Yontif, he sent me an email. I don't have it in front of me, but the content of it was, thank you so much. After I said, he said, I haven't been doing much Judaism since my bar mitzvah. Now he's like in his mid-20s. And the experience of holding the Torah and dancing was the most amazing thing in my life. Like, whoa. So that's what I'm thinking. Like, if we wouldn't have gone outside, but I don't know. So you have a doubt to do something goes good. So there's another thing I was thinking about, spontaneity. Somebody do something spontaneously and like, oh, it's amazing. And then next year say, let's do it again. Like, it was a great idea last year, but I was excited because it was the first time. We keep on doing it. On the other hand, if it's a good thing, incorporate it, make it part of your thing. So I think about this at the Kinnis HaShluchim, at the conference of the Shluchim, right? That happens Rosh Chodesh Kislev in New York. So towards at the end of the banquet, right, the big banquet, 3,000 Shluchim and 2,000 guests, whatever. So they go through a roll call. Now this roll call evolved. And the way it started was this, because I think the first Kinnis HaShluchim was, I don't remember exactly, it's probably in the 1980s, maybe the early 80s. Yeah, the early 80s, maybe late 70s. So my grandfather, bless his memory, who was a shliach in Pittsburgh, so how many shluchim were there that came to this conference? I think then it was only for the heads of state, whatever. I think it was 50, 75 people the most. So my grandfather, who was an older man at that time, he gets him and says to the director, he says, who are all these young people? In Yiddish, who are all these young people? I don't recognize, I don't know who they are. So each one of them got up and introduced themselves, right? And that was that. And so then that became, but then when you have 1,000 people in the room, everybody can't get up and introduce themselves. So that's why you have the roll call, whatever, that evolved also a bunch of times. And then the first time the roll call happened, everybody was standing. They said all the people went out, in 1940, 1950s, 1960s, 70s, 80s. And by the time the whole room was standing, everybody started singing spontaneously, started dancing. It wasn't on the program. But because everybody was so hyped, all the shluchim together at the end of the banquet, and so they all started singing and dancing. So the joke became that, the banquet has a schedule. This one will speak, the other will speak, then there'll be the roll call, and then there'll be spontaneous dancing. It's still a beautiful thing, but it's definitely not spontaneous. Anyway, so Simchat Torah, we danced all the way around Kenmore Square.
So just before you continue, I found the date. It was on October 30th or the 23rd of Cheshvan, 1983 or 5744.
Was the first Kinnis HaShluchim.
That was the first one. So right. 17 years and a day before I was born was the first one.
Mazel tov. Oh, so in 1983. Okay, makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, and I actually was there that year or the year after because I was then, because they had or 2 years after me because I was in Kailo then, probably was 85, 84, 85.
Rabbi, exactly 41 years ago. Look at the date. Not on the Hebrew calendar, but on the other calendar. Exactly 41 years ago.
October what?
It was October 30th.
Oh, but today's 29, isn't it?
No,
What's
today's the 30th.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Wild.
Okay, Hashgacha Pratis. This shows we're doing something right. So anyway, so last year when we danced around Kenmore Square, I walked. Cornwalls,
Yeah, the bar. Yeah.
the bar, right? The bar. So I danced right into Cornwalls, and
Oh
we
my
went
God.
around. Yeah. And it was pretty empty, like maybe 15, 20 people, but they were like, what the heck's going on here? And we danced in around. Now, the reason I had the chutzpah to do that is because I know the owner. For
Okay.
some reason, the owner is this older guy who stands by the door and checks IDs.
Oh,
So
that guy's the owner? Really?
yeah.
Oh, I had no idea. That's funny.
I'm pretty sure. So every once in a while, like during the daytime, he's hanging out outside. I stop by and talk to him. He's a nice guy, because he's been there. Cornwalls used to be across the street, the other side of Kenmore Square, where
Oh,
where the Hotel Commonwealth is now. It used to
gotcha.
be on that side, and then when it was on this side, they've changed a couple of times, whatever. So he's been here a heck of a long time. So this year we're going by, and one of the kids who was there last year said, "Are we going to go into Cornwall? We're going to Cornwall." And I looked, and I saw that place was really full. And the amount of guys that were with us this year was more than last year. I'm like, oh my God, this this is not going to work. It's going to be terrible.
No.
So in that case, again, spontaneity was good. It happened last year. Didn't happen to that this year. But yeah, I think it's so amazing. Every time we go out and we dance, we inadvertently we meet a Jew, or even we were dancing and some guy who wasn't Jewish drives by, we give a thumbs up, peeps his horn. It's just beautiful. It was nice that we were able to be Jewish and happy and outside and without any issues, any of that. That's very, very powerful. Very, very powerful. So that was Simchas Torah, and then here we are now in Parsha Bereishis. We always doesn't get its full attention because we don't start learning it till Thursday, and we have to finish the reading it by Shabbos. And now it's Parsha Noach already. When we're the week after the next Parsha, so here we are in that. But the message is we got to make the world a holy place. I was talking to I don't think we ever had him on. I think maybe we did. Do we have this guy Natan Rutkin, who's Rutkin is his name? He's a shliach in Carmiel in Israel. We should have had him. We should have him. Anyway, if I got his name wrong, he's going to shoot me. Anyway, so I was talking to him yesterday, and he said to me, he said, I have a problem. I said, what's the problem? Carmiel is north of Haifa. So basically, that's the north of Israel. That's the north.
Yeah.
He said the school that his kids go to is like a 40-minute drive away from their home. And they're very worried because on the drive, there could be a missile and the siren comes on, and then you have to find a shelter. And, if the kids are on the bus or whatever, they're going to get very frightened and what to do. So he's very worried about sending them to school. And even if there's a siren while they're at school, it's also going to be very traumatizing to them. On the other hand, being at home is like isolating, like kids sitting home. So and he's trying to do his shlichus, and at the same time, if his kids are home, he has to learn with them, teach them. So what should he's asking me what should I do? What do you think I should do? And then he tells me like just across the road, a missile hit like a few days ago, and some person in Leilenu sadly lost their life. So his wife is on edge. So I'm just thinking like we here are very aware of what's going on in Israel, but just once in a while to think exactly how it affects just simple Yidden living in Israel. They're not forget about all the soldiers and their families and all that. But even every other person that's living there, or so many other people, obviously those that had to move out of their homes from the south, from the north, But even these people are living in their homes, the trauma that they have to live with and the decisions they have to make is like, it's unbelievable. It's incredible. Anyway, the decision I spoke to them a few more minutes, and we figured out that they could actually start a small program for the kids in the neighborhood, like in the shul or the Chabad house, which has a shelter nearby. But I think we need to keep our attention focused, davening, doing mitzvahs, and doing acts of kindness, and just on the merit of the Jews living in Israel, because it's a situation that should never leave our we should be thinking about it constantly, what's going on there. At the same time, and I'm looking at like the typical college student. Are they really aware? Your typical college student has no idea what's going on in the news. They don't hear anything. They're like clueless completely. I asked like people, and you look on the Jewish website, and it's so tragic. Every day, the past week or 2 weeks, whatever, soldiers getting killed. And then you read like these are soldiers in the reserve, like a father of 8 children. It's like, it's mind-boggling. I just can't understand. It's how disruptive is that to life? I mean, the whole country is in one big trauma. Anyway, so I don't mean to. I just mean to bring this up, that people should. I think people that listen to the Pos-cast are the intelligent people who are connected to what's going on in the world will probably know this, but I think other people, don't have that in mind. And somebody talked to me today about anti-Semitism on campus. I said, I'm not dealing with that. I'm not focused on that at all. First of all, it's not a big deal now, or it is a big deal, but it's not. I don't, it's more in a subtle sense. I can tell you at BU, there's nothing going on. There's nothing going on. So to go and bring it up as an issue, number one. Number two is, so my point here is to bring more light and to do more good things and to positive action and Jewish awareness. Like this guy that we met dancing on Simchat Torah, that to me, that was amazing. Like to give a person like that a boost and be proud and excited about his Yiddishkeit. So that's our mission as we go back into the world. We come out of the teva, we come out of the cocoon of Rosh and Yom Kippur, Sukkot, Simchat Torah. We go back to the world. Bring your Jewishness. Like at Berkeley College of Music, we had a sukkah right there next to one of the buildings. Again, a beautiful, beautiful event. Kids were coming and non-Jews were coming over to ask what was going on. I mean, the sukkah was up a whole week. And I didn't even know this, but somebody said to me, one of the students said, "Oh, it's great that the sukkah's here." It's a small sukkah. It's made to fit like 8 people max. He says, but at nighttime, we go there and sit there and eat. And I don't think they even think about the mitzvah of sukkah specifically, but just like this is a place to be Jewish. I mean, they know it's sukkah, so it's not that they're not doing the mitzvah, but it's not they're running through a mitzvah. Yeah, I guess in a sense they are, but just like they were able to express their Judaism, and I didn't even know this. I always assumed, no one goes there, nobody cares. No, this is like the most amazing thing. And one of the alumni who actually lives in Israel now, I think she was the one who worked at Berkeley at that time, 15 years ago, probably, and she organized to buy the sukkah that the school, it's the school's property. We tell them to put it up, they put it up, take it down. It's really a beautiful thing. And the fact that Jews are going into there. So now you got to find your connection to your Judaism, bring it out into, Shabbos and Torah study daily, tefillin every day. And Hashem will help that just like Noach went into the teva and came out of the teva and did his thing and did his job in the world. And the end of this week's parsha, Avraham is born. So that's a next step up in the development of Hashem's presence in the world. But now we're ready to finish it off, have peace in the world, and be together with all our brothers and sisters with Mashiach in the third Beis HaMikdash.
Amen. And with that, thank you so much for listening to episode 80 of the Pos-cast with Rabbi Shmuel Posner. We will see you next week.